Illegal means illegal. They could be the best people, but the law should be enforced. I just don't get the point of enforcing immigration laws. Yeah, great question. These guys are not actually enforcing good immigration laws. You can have good immigration laws and bad immigration laws, right? I think you understand that. Good immigration laws would be the most morally just thing that you can do. I'm an ICE agent and a member of this community, by the way. Shut the up. There is 0% chance that you are literally. I had a personal altercation with Brad Lander. He was still kind to us despite being there to confront us. I would want him to get elected, even though he would make our job much harder. Brother, what could you possibly be getting out of being a part of this community? I genuinely don't understand. Quit your job right now, okay? Quit your job right now. Quit your job right now. Dude, what the how do you get any satisfaction out of this? How can you get I call you Gestapo every day. How is that possible? You're not enforcing immigration laws, dumbass. You're just basically harassing random people. The entire point of immigration, like if Donald Trump's presented argument was correct, that like these undocumented migrants were actually an ever-present danger to regular American citizens, then it would be justifiable to actually apprehend them as long as you follow due process. But that's not the case. The people that you are literally kidnapping from their court hearings, as you have personal altercations with Brad Lander, are people who are no different than you. They're no different than you. As a matter of fact, they actually have helpful output in general. They're a part of the productive forces. You're not. They do more for this country than you do. That's crazy. I genuinely don't understand how you could be in here day in, day out. I swear I've been here for like the past 4 to 5 years. First of all, you've been account created December 4th, following since December 4th. So I don't know about that. I need money. It's not an easy job, but I got pills to pay. I can't just quit. I don't brutalize them. I don't harass them. I don't get joy out of it. It's my job. Brother, quit your job and get something else. Quit your job and do something else. I promise you. Okay? It will be better for your morality and maybe even better down the line when there might be some legal repercussions for the actions that you engaged in. Because there is going to be a point. Right now, you think there is a point where you could just be like, oh yeah, I'm just following orders. I'm just doing my job. I'm just doing my job. You are already engaging in a bunch of immoral behavior. Okay? How can you sit there and feel like what you're doing is good for the goddamn country when you're literally ripping away families in a court right after they leave the immigration court hearing? Like, how can you at any given point look at what you're doing there and go, well, a job is a job. You know, it is what it is. Like, your job is kidnapping random people who could just as easily get their paperwork done. If they had more money, then they would not even be considered illegal. Let's be real. That's the exact same thing that Nazis said, by the way. I'm just following orders. That's what they said. And that's what you're doing right now. If you've genuinely been in this community for every day at 26 Federal Plaza, we have a list of people with criminal offenses who will get their cases dismissed. We don't take anybody. We take specific people. Dude, we just showed that your own ICE data shows that the largest group of immigrants that are being detained right now, the largest growth in immigrants being detained, have no criminal background whatsoever. What are you talking about? No, you don't take specific people. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. You think ICE is taking specific people. Maybe your unit has only taken specific people. But the reality of the matter is that's not what's going on. How can you say that? They're detaining American citizens all the goddamn time. It's ridiculous. And once again, even the specific people that you are detaining, even the specific people that you think you're detaining, are being detained and being deported because of paperwork. It is ridiculous. Deportation is a very violent process in general, being ripped away from your friends, your family, your job, everything that you know. The punishment needs to be suitable for the crime. If the crime is just, sorry, we're never going to give you the proper paperwork as we use and abuse you, knowing full well, and if you've been an ICE agent for years, you know this already, ICE agents know exactly where the undocumented migrants are, because there's a handshake agreement, at least under different administrations, as to people playing ball with ICE that will never get their paperwork cleared. But everybody knows exactly where they are. Everybody knows that they're not like violating the laws in an egregious manner. At most, it's like unpaid bills or traffic violations or moving violations or whatever the. Okay, you're out here making it seem like you got people with criminal offenses like and baby decapitators or some shit. You either are gaslighting yourself into believing that because the facts don't actually bear that out at all. The data doesn't include crimes like DUI. DUI is a big part of people we target right now. And trust me, we do take specific people. I can't talk for ERO New York. I can talk for ERO New York, but can't for the entire country, but yes. I'm not even going to get into like whether or not someone who is engaged in a DUI or at least arrested for a DUI, not convicted, arrested for a DUI is worthy of deporting from the goddamn country. Defense attorney here, ICE is literally notorious in courts here for literally just sitting in courtrooms and seeing if anyone has an immigration issue and then just taking them. It's not specific people. They would literally just go to court and listen for people to deport. Exactly. Yeah, ICE be like, no, nine, you don't understand it. We are only taking the bad Jews, yeah? The bad Jews. The bad Juden. Not the good Juden. All right? Some of the Juden were doing usury. And we are taking them. Not the bad ones. Or not the good ones. Just the bad ones. I can't speak for everyone else in the SS. But mine unit is only taking the bad Jews and not the good ones. Earlier today, when you said about 20% of the country is in complete denial about the way in which the country has become unapologetically fascist, I thought it definitely has to be more than 20%. Then I remembered I live in Missouri and I'm 100% surrounded by that 20% at any given time. Yes, that's probably what it is. Like, oh, dude, you guys had before I lose your attention, I need you to ask something. You always say we need to give amnesty to people. Even if we did, wouldn't we then have to enforce immigration laws? Yes, there is a point where immigration laws can be enforced. But that process is paperwork. You realize that you are apprehending and deporting people for paperwork problems, right? At the end of the day, that's all this is. The punishment for a DUI is a punishment for a DUI, okay? The punishment for a DUI on top of paperwork issues should not mean that someone gets lasered out and shipped off to CCOT in El Salvador into a slave labor camp. What the It's a troll. I don't even think this is a troll because I mean, either this is the most elaborate bit because he was in here talking about Brad Lander and he's talking about New York ERO. What I'm doing is enforcing laws that the Congress passed. How come Congress people don't get any smoke, but I get screamed at every day? Brother, because you're the one who's doing the enforcement. F the Congress people. You think we like the Congress people? If you've been in here for 4 to 5 years, who the do you think I like in Congress? What are you, crazy? Go deport them. I think the American government, the American people would celebrate you for doing that instead of deporting random landscapers. What the That's the whole point. No one who's actually worthy of any sort of serious scrutiny, serious cruelty ever gets the receiving end of said punishment. It's always random, vulnerable people that haven't actually done anything. And it's all just people justifying why they have to do this all the way down. Ice Agent on Twitch, I don't believe it. I do believe it. He probably got banned in a previous account. That's why he's in here in a sock account. If he's been in here for 4 to 5 years, it does make sense. Not this community, but people recording raids yell Nazi SS scum all the time, but no one gets to Congress and yells at them. Wait, yes, they do. Also, Congresspersons are not as accessible as an ICE agent who is doing the deportation in that moment. This doesn't mean that they're not criminal scumbags either. And in opportune moments, when they are in broad daylight in public, people do that same exact thing. They're just not in public as frequently as a ICE agent is. Ask me specific questions if you don't believe me, but I have a different account, but I just didn't want to dox the account I always use. Oh my God, this is like, that's crazy. That's crazy. I always wondered, like, are there any cops in here? Because I shit on cops so much. But it turns out there's ICE agents, so there might as well be cops in here too. How the does that even work? Like, I get why there are veterans in this community because I do actually consistently talk about, you know, how brainwashed every American citizen is. But like maybe a former cop or something. I was shocked when there was a British cop that actually approached me and told me he was a fan. But I guess they're British, so they were just like thinking I'm only shitting on American cops or something. I don't know. Brother, I know the job market is ass. Okay, I get it. I understand it. But there is no honor in this, okay? If there was honor in this, you wouldn't be trying to, you know, justify it with self-soothing statements over and over again, being like, listen, I don't know. It's just a job. It's all this shit. He put a digital mask on by creating a second account. Because, like, at the end of the day, you know how I always say cops need to do their jobs, like, and they're not doing their jobs. And there's also, like, detectives and shit, too, obviously. Like there is a valid purpose for it, okay? But there is no valid purpose for ICE. It's not defending the American borders. It's not defending anything at all. There's a valid for customs. There's a valid for Border Patrol. There's a valid reason for Border Patrol to exist. There's a valid reason for INS to exist. But the whole point of INS is supposed to literally conduct, very rarely, deportation initiatives. And for the most part, recognize if someone is actually, recognize if someone's like paperwork is actually out of date or something, is to go to them and be like, your paperwork is out of date. You have to fix this. You have to go to court. Like that's, in a normal circumstance, that's how it's supposed to be. INS isn't a thing anymore. I know. I'm just saying that's what it used to be. It used to be INS. That is what it's supposed to work. That's how it's supposed to work in this situation. As a vet, I get where you're coming from, but most of the dudes I serve with kind of deserve to be on the streets with a single Hello Kitty sock and a drinking problem. Okay, that's crazy. Anyway, I don't plan on doing this forever. I would like to move on to HSI or FBI or something, but yeah, right now this is what I have to deal with. Oh my God, brother. Well, good luck, because there's not any funding on that other side either. HSI or FBI, great. Bro, you are working in a call center. They don't f with you. Ask them what color of the day is. What? What the color of the day is? What do you mean? Politicians are hearing about it. Congressional Republicans. What? It's Fed talk. I saw it in a movie. What? What the f are you saying? Bro, you have to quit your job. I'm serious. You have to quit your job and also leak all of the f up shit that they've done to a journalist immediately. Maybe even you can write a book about it if you want, but that's crazy. Color of the day for random drug testing? Oh. Like, I understand the job market not being shit, but that's crazy that you're like, well, job market's not shit, so I have to apprehend random abuelas outside of a courthouse because the current administration has decided that they ain't shit, that we're basically going to use them as a talking point. You know what I mean? We're just basically going to use them. We're going to use these people that we have abused for years and years as a way to make 20% of the population feel superior and not recognize how hard they're getting asked to, because everyone's getting in the situation except for the 1%. And basically all these guys are doing is like throwing red meat in front of people, and that red meat happens to be the deportation and apprehension of some of the most vulnerable people in American society that have done nothing really. They getting lobster in the army, meanwhile you're getting yelled at, pick the wrong job, bub. Hey Hasan, I'm a longtime fascist community member. I agree with most of the things you say, but I just believe in a culture in group and strong corporate control over the economy. You shouldn't join the military either. Okay? You should not join the military either. Don't do this. Okay? Do anything but that. Don't join the police force. Do not join the military. Do not join ICE. Definitely do not join ICE. Holy shit. Yeah, go be a firefighter, guys. Come on, go be a builder. Do something worthwhile, please.
Drove away from a traffic stop. It dragged him about 100 yards. Here's what Vice President Vance said about the incident this week.
Oh, this is my dude. ICE officer. This guy's awesome. This is Spencer Rapone, chatter. He got, I think he got, yeah, Army splits with West Point grad who touted communist revolt. Yeah, I gave you his name. Yep, see, Spencer Rapone. June 15th, 2018 photo. West Point graduate Spencer Rapone leans into his motorcycle at a park in Watertown, New York as a part of the Army with other than honorable discharge for conduct unbecoming of an officer, including his online activities of promoting communism and disparaging top U.S. officials. No, I never had Spencer on the broadcast, no. Opinion polling is out, not looking good for ICE. Do you think ICE agents should face criminal charges for shooting the woman in Minneapolis? Yes, 53%. No, 30%. Oh my God. God, Americans are cattle. We deserve everything that we're getting. Honestly, we really do. I'm sorry. Broadly, we are a cattle country. Okay. We are a nation state of cackling hyenas and cattle. Are you kidding me? 30% no? Holy. Democrats, 90% say yes. Republicans, 63% say no. Independents, 54% say yes. 63%. Oh my God, these Republicans, man, it is crazy. Do you think I should be allowed to enter K through 12 school campuses? Should not be allowed, 64%. Should be allowed, 20%. Not sure, 16%. Even Republicans are at 39%. Should not be allowed, by the way. As someone who's been living here in the Twin Cities for a couple of years, I can confirm these people exist. I know. We are a nation of lobotomy patients, dude. Straight up. Like a good chunk of the population is just absolutely lobotomized and don't even realize what they're advocating for, even when it's happening in front of them. Like there's a difference. There's a difference between voting for something, thinking that it's going to be good, and then actually receiving it and realizing it's not so good. The maximalist brain damage is basically experiencing the bad and then still trying to find a way to claim it's good. Okay? And obviously the worst version of this is when it happens to you and you still defend it. If it happens to you and you still thank you. If it happens to you and you still defend it, you are, I don't even know at that point. You're not even cattle at that point. You're just, you don't even have the brain of an insect. There's got to be at least a couple liberals in here, though, that were previously like, Hasan, I didn't really fully understand what you were talking about. I was scared about the whole like re-education camp shit. But now I'm actually beginning to recognize that you were right. Got to be a couple of them in here, right? There has to be. For years and years, people yelled at me and said I was so crazy.